the countdown continues with little more than 1,000 days left to save our planet from global warming, members of the Supreme Master Ching Hai International Association in Hong Kong organized a climate change conference to inspire the public to join hands to save our planet. Held on Saturday, October 3rd, the gathering featured lectures by prominent scientists and other speakers from China, Hong Kong, and Formosa or Taiwan, as well as representatives of government, media, and nonprofit organizations. Eminent guests in attendance included Dr. Wu Imboa, Vice President of the Hong Kong Applied Science and Technology Research Institute, Reverend Feng Chi Wood of the Hong Kong Anglican Church, and Ms. Judy Chen, Chairman of the Hong Kong Ocean Park Conservation Foundation. The talks reviewed current evidence of global warming as well as the swine flu pandemic and proposed solutions. Supreme Master Ching Hai accepted the invitation as the honored guest and graciously lent her presence to respond to questions from the audience via video conference. Her thoughts deeply reflected the event's theme, Global Unity, Together in Saving Lives. We now invite you to join us for a video conference with Supreme Master Ching Hai entitled Global Unity, Together in Saving Lives, held on October 3rd, 2009 in Hong Kong.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, worldwide viewers of Supreme Master Television. Ladies and gentlemen, a heartfelt welcome to this SOS Climate Change Action Conference entitled Global Unity Together in Saving Lives in Hong Kong, Fragrant Harbor. We are very pleased to announce that this conference is broadcast live through Supreme Master Television via 14 satellite platforms, IPTV, as well as internet at www.suprememastertv.com.
Happy Moon Festival. Moon Festival in some Asian cultures is a day of family reunion and community unity, and enjoying mooncakes signifying the wish for perfection. So glad to have you all here today as a family on this very, very special day.
We are very honored to be your host this afternoon.
According to many prophecies, in this challenging era, the Rainbow Warriors will appear. They are both guardians and pioneers of the earth. By following an animal-free diet, protecting the environment, and using God-given power derived from spiritual practice, they aspire to build a new era of peace, freedom, and harmony. Some of us remember our sacred mission as Rainbow Warriors, while some are yet to be awakened. We must be united, irrespective of race and religion, to bring the divine power to the world. This is the spirit of our climate change conference today. Global unity, together in saving lives. Now, let's enjoy a performance entitled The Rainbow Warriors, brought to you by members of the Supreme Master Ching Hai International Association.
Prophecy rainbow brings us here, messengers of God. Tender loving care is the golden rule of our lives. Rainbow lady unites us here, we select our music and light. Beyond color, race, or religion, in prayer and solitude, we find wisdom and courage. are the rainbow warriors in the legend. Safeguard the planet with vegan, with pink. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. In justice, in peace, and in freedom. A harmonious new world. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. Safeguard the planet with vegan, with pink. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. In justice, in peace, and in freedom. A harmonious new world. Together we make the dream come true. Rivers run clear, forests be abundant. Together we make the dream come true. Animals and birds are replenished. Mothers restored in her natural beauty. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. Safeguard the planet with vegan, with green. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. In justice, in peace, and in freedom. A harmonious new world. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. Safeguard the planet with vegan, with green. We are the rainbow warriors in the legend. In justice, in peace, and in freedom. A harmonious new world. A harmonious new world.
Wow, beautiful song, beautiful voice, and beautiful dance. Thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause. Thank you.
Our beautiful planet is now experiencing a planetary emergency with natural disasters such as heat waves, world hunger, food crisis, occurring frequently as never seen before. This is the time of urgency. Based on the higher awareness, immediate action must be taken in time to save all our co-inhabitants on the Earth. How much do we know about Mother Earth and the impact of global warming? Here is a short film unveiling the truth.
Fungi were the first organisms that came to land. 1.3 billion years ago, fungi marched onto land from the oceans. Plants followed several hundred million years later. They were the gateway species, and they led the way. And in the trail of mycelium that they created, and plant and animal communities then marched forward upon the mantle of mycelium.
Every day, up to 270 species are erased from existence. 1/3 of all animal species have been lost since the 1970s.
It is our behavior that caused so much the loss of our planetary species. Scientists have proved it. So we all know that fishing, hunting, polluting the environment are the cause of global warming and the decrease of animals on the planet. And many of the advices to stop often have gone unheeded. And it's a pity, we should protect the species because when we protect them, we protect the ecology. And the ecology links with our health, the health of the planet and the people.
According to the World Health Organization, the 2009 swine flu pandemic is the fastest ever spreading pandemic in history, with millions today likely to be infected. Canadian agencies have seen a 99% correlation between the number of pig factory farms and the total number of human swine flu cases per province.
When we cram tens of thousands of animals into these cramp-filled football field-sized sheds to lie snout to snout atop their own waste, it's just a breeding ground for disease.
Pig and other animal factory farms also create antibiotic-resistant bacteria. In the US, where 70% of all antibiotics are fed to farm animals, bacterial infections claim 18,000 human lives each year, which is more than all the AIDS fatalities in the country. Ocean dead zones are increasing. Satellite data from a recent study published in the journal Geophysical Research Letters showed that barren zones in the world's oceans increased in 1 decade by around 5 million square kilometres, an area equivalent to about half the size of the United States. These so-called ocean deserts appear very dark as they lack green chlorophyll from plankton, as with their land counterparts. The deserts are also hotter than surrounding areas. Animal agriculture is largely responsible for these regions that support no life, as fertilizers and manure make their way to the oceans, ultimately robbing it of oxygen and killing marine animals and plants in increasingly larger areas.
Since people found out about this talk that I was going to give here today, I've received a number of emails from people that I respect saying that the 18% figure is an underestimate. It's a low estimate, and in actual fact, it's much higher.
And I just had some information just recently that the new figures now indicate that at least half of the greenhouse gases that are up there now, not the 15 or 20%, at least half, and maybe considerably more, are due to livestock production.
Greenhouse gases are emitted during virtually every step of the meat-producing process. Of the 3 major greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, methane is up to 72 times more potent than CO2, while nitrous oxide is up to 300 times more potent.
Sure, we have to deal with CO2 in the long run. But if you want to make an impact on climate in the next 20 years, the place to do it is with the shorter-lived greenhouse gases, most important of which is methane.
We have a critical environmental crisis now happening with effects that we're seeing around the world, and if we want to address the warming we're seeing now, the best bang for our buck comes in addressing the other gases, mostly methane, and its number one source, animal agriculture.
Migrating birds have to fly farther and farther to find a place to nest, and the polar bear swims longer and longer now because there is no more ice, till sometimes they drown of exhaustion. Or why the neighboring country has so many floods in recent years, so many disasters, etc., etc. Tell them how climate change is affecting real life, real animals, real people, and their own lives as well. But it's also important to show the young people that there is still hope. We can still save the planet. It's a chance to be true heroes by being vegan and spread the news of this solution.
Together, we can save lives.
Now, we all know how seriously global warming is affecting our life. Today, we are very honored to have distinguished guest speakers from Beijing, Taiwan, Hong Kong to share their views on the impact and solution for global warming. Please accept our sincere gratitude for your attendance and support.
It is also a privilege that our special guest of honor, Supreme Master Hайн, a world-renowned humanitarian, artist, and spiritual teacher, will join us in the Q&A section to discuss the most constructive means of addressing the impending problems of climate change in order to ensure that we do not pass the point of no return.
Before starting the speeches by our distinguished guests, let's share an interview with Professor Ling-Pei Lien regarding global warming and climate change. Professor Lin is chairman of the Department of Atmosphere Sciences Graduate Institute of Atmosphere Physics, National Central University, Formosa. Professor Ling-Pei Lien has some advice for us on global warming.
各位观众大家好，今天我来谈一下温室效应跟全球暖化。那全球暖化的问题呢，一直都是全世界争论的焦点，也是现在人类面临最大的问题。虽然我们没办法避免暖化的这一个现象，但是我们可以减缓它。如果我们的生活能够简朴一点，我们能够避免排放太多的温室气体的话，那有可能我们可以维持在比较好的环境之下。反之，如果我们还是继续排放这么多的温室气体的话，那么在未来100年之内，我们将面临非常可怕的环境。那从温室气体的效应来看呢，为什么会造成暖化？主要是2个过程，一个是温室气体包括我们刚刚提到的甲烷包括二氧化碳包括氧化亚氮等等这些温室气体，因为工业革命之后，人类的这个不断的开发然后呢排放这么多的温室气体，那温室气体呢就会造成这个长波辐射呢被阻挡下来就是有部分的能量被阻挡下来，所以呢就会有造成暖化。那我想这个温室效应、全球暖化所造成的影响非常的大。那对台湾来讲，我们已经很多研究人员都发现比如说这日夜温差的改变当然是增温的现象是特别的明显。那甚至呢有人也做了一些研究，发现跟这个极端降水的这个几率也有很密切的关联特别像这个比较强烈、比较剧烈的这些台风发生的频率，有人认为跟全球暖化有密切的关联。当然，这个可能还要很多的研究才能够证实，但是呢，我们不能忽视这个中间可能的关联。那我觉得这个全世界面临这样的问题，应该全世界的人类呢，应该这个手牵手、心连心大家一起来想办法来救地球大家应该尽量过简朴的生活，然后呢，让我们这个比较少的欲望。那这样的话，我们生活简朴，我们欲望比较少，那我们对于这个资源的需求就比较少一点。那这样我们可能可以共同来拯救地球。那今天这样的一个活动，我想是很有意义的确实需要全人类大家共同来参与，大家共同来合作来拯救地球，来避免这个让这个温室效应继续的恶化。对香港这一次所举办的关心地球暖化会议、心连心救地球的这个大活动，祝这个活动呢圆满成功，也祝福大家健康平安喜悦。好，面对全球暖化的现象呢全世界的人类都应该要尽一份心力。青海无上师呢能够率领这么多的信众针对地球暖化的问题呢尽一份心力，然后大家能够心连心救地球，我们特别感谢他，谢谢。
Thank you, Professor Lin, for your advice on leading a more simple life.
Now, We have our distinguished speakers who will describe the kinds of problems that our planet is facing as well as the possible solution. We have our first distinguished guest, Professor Gang Xu, who will share his view on climate change and fundamental combat strategy.
Professor Gang Xu is currently Professor and Dean of School of Environment and Energy of Peking University, Shenzhen Graduate School. Professor Gang is a renowned expert in environmental ecology, simulation model, especially risk assessment methodology of global environmental changes and water resource management. He is an elected fellow of American Society of Economy and American Association for the Advancement of Science. Let's give a warm applause to welcome Professor Gang.
Good afternoon. Thanks to the organizers' invitation that I have this opportunity to be here to meet so many distinguished guests and also the individuals who had a common commitment, that is to improve this world so we can have a better place to live, not only for ourselves, for the generations to follow. I want to share with you a little bit our understanding about the problem and our approach, how do we solve this problem. The IPCC, who has become world famous because they received the Nobel Prize in 2007. Here's a copy from the IPCC's report indicating that all the fundamental gases are increasing, and those gas increase cause climate change. So I'm not going to go into detail, but the only thing I want to point out is there's three pictures here. On the left is the simulation if we only consider what natural changes could be and compared to the real numbers. And the second one shows that if we are adding the anthropogenic effects, and the last picture shows both effects from natural and also from human contribution, and then the two graphs are almost coincident one over the other. So it shows the close relationship between the human contribution and the natural changes. Now, when we talk about change, this picture shows that it's not a simple change of temperature. The implication is that when temperature is increasing, extreme conditions can also be increasing. This can happen in all three possible scenarios. If just change absolute temperature, for example, how the tail probability is being affected, and if you change the variation, then how the tail probabilities change. And then lastly, when you have both average and also the variation change, the impact on extreme events can be enormous. Well, I'll give you an example. This is two pictures, not related at all. On your left is a picture from Himalaya, and on your right is a picture taken at Washington, D.C. It happens these two pictures taken on the same day, on the January 2007. The winter is cold, but this picture shows the contrary phenomenon, that is hot and warm on the same day and almost at the same temperature, 21 Celsius degree. It's enormous. It's unheard of. It's a record broken. I mean, it's coincidence on two unrelated, far apart from the world, and the two different locations that happens at the same time and unlikely temperature, and it all happen at the same time. So we have a lot of problems, all kinds of disasters. In Sichuan province, for example, Sichuan is known historically for rainfall, and it's Yumi Zhixiang. It's well known for agriculture because of a lot of water. But in recent years, even in those places where it used to have a lot of water and become prone for drought. And here's a picture shows again a very serious drought happened in Sichuan in the last few years. I came from California. I've been in California for a little more than 30-some years. I teach at University of California at Davis. I'm still a professor at Davis. And in California, we already analyze and conclude that on the 21st century, the most serious problem is global climate change. And the global climate change effect on California is in many different ways, but the most critical is on water resource. California's run out of water, and it had a severe impact on all ecological phenomena and human well-being. And this picture shows the economic impact. This actual number shows what happens over the last 30-some years. As you can see, the extreme climatic conditions, how they impact on economic situation. And all you need to know from this picture is it's not something that affects here and there. I mean, it's something happening on the economy. That's probably It's more concerned to large population. We all worry about it. Bottom line is how they're affecting our economy. And extreme climate conditions had a tremendous toll on the costs on the economy. Everybody's paying a lot of money trying to remedy the problems. The change is not small change. The earthquake a year ago in Sichuan, maybe it's not directly related to the weather change. However, it is all indication of unstable world. Personally, I have research on global climate change and how they impact various things that we're concerned with. One, for example, the water resource. Here's the rise in Taiwan. And this picture shows one conditions, water demand, and the normal conditions. Another, the red dots and lines represents the water demand after global climate change. And here shows you, under the global climate change scenario, and the water demand is increasing. I mean, for rice, if you are above 6 millimeters evapotranspiration day, and after the global climate change, it will increase from 17% to 40%, 3 times more. And here is another example in Taichung Pair. And again, the water demand probably will increase from 8% to 49%. And here's another example on grape, an increase from 12% to 47%. Now, those are the problems. Why it happened? In my opinion, they largely have something to do with energy consumption. The thing is, we've been mostly familiar with and largely consumed are fossil fuel energy. Those energy are limited, and therefore they are depleted. The depletion is quick, and we probably exhausted those kind of energy we're seeing. Depends on how you estimate and depends on which report you're reading, somewhere from 50 to 100 years. So those are exhaustible and used up very quickly, and we're facing the challenge. And those are also the cause of the emissions of various kinds of gases, and which cause global climate change. So we worry about energy. People always want to live in the same way or better. They want to raise their living standards. Developing countries want to do the same thing too. Everybody wants the best living style. However, there are costs for that. Now, when fossil fuel already cause problems and also is exhausting, we began to think, do we have enough energy? The answer is yes, there's plenty. Actually, the solar energy is plenty because every year, Earth receives enough sunlight 10 times more than all possible energy resources that are existing on Earth. On an annual basis, the solar energy can reach to the Earth at least 15,000 times more than the energy consumed by the whole world. So there's plenty. There's ways we can improve ourselves by using those energy, non-pollution, and also efficient, and can maintain our living styles, even improve our living styles, at the same time improving the environment. So our school, therefore, is called Environment and Energy. We intend to integrate all these problems in a new way to solve the environment and energy problems through research and education. And we have many collaborators, and we want to establish a new platform, which is multidisciplinary and multi-dimensional, and we will have science, we have management, we have economics, we have policy to solve this problem. That's our goal, and I think we can make a contribution in the environment and energy areas with, of course, all your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Geng, for giving us scientific analysis on the extreme weather events due to climate change, and also for presenting us with the recent green energy policy and a sustainable development plan to address the climate change. Recently, the outbreak of H1N1 is becoming serious everywhere. What is the relationship between disease and climate change? Today, our second distinguished speaker, Professor Lin Rui-xiong, will share his insight on climate change, catastrophic public health.
Professor Lin Rui-xiong is a world-famous epidemiologist. He is currently Emeritus Professor at the College of Public Health, National Taiwan University. Professor Lin is also an advisor in Mingsheng Medical Care System, Taoyuan, Taiwan, Board of Editors of Annals of Epidemiology. Let's welcome Professor Lin with a warm applause.
谢谢主持人的介绍。午安，今天很荣幸能够应邀亲爱无上师世界会的邀请来参加这个新年新救地球的 conference， 我感觉非常荣幸。因为我是一个公共卫生流行病学，所以我今天所想的是有关气候暖化对公共卫生的冲击。公共卫生在回顾这50-60年里面，公共卫生的进步、环境卫生的推动、疫苗的广泛使用，很多传染病在1950年代的天花、小儿麻痹等都已经快要绝迹了。所以公共卫生很高兴，传染病都要绝迹，转而来都是慢性病，一些生活形态、一些饮食习惯相关的高血压、糖尿病、心脏血管病变，我们很庆幸。不过，最近10几年来，我们见证了禽流感、SARS， 还有今年的猪流感症，我们感觉有很多新兴的传染病，以及再浮现的一些传染病 re-emerging 的隐晦下疾都在出现，所以这些传染病对我们人类好像有很大的 impact 影响。所以我今天可能就要对全球暖化、气候变迁对这些公共卫生、这些传染病的影响怎样，跟大家介绍。在介绍以前，我先讲一些疾病的生态模式，就这个病原素食中间有一个生态环境，生态环境的变动会影响到素食，也会影响到病原。我今天特别赶的要讲哪一些病原会受到生态环境，尤其是气候暖化会影响的。对个人来讲，是如何增进你自己的免疫力，增加你的 immunity， 你的抵抗力。对整个公共卫生来讲，是我们要怎样改变环境，改变这生态环境，把病原传到人的里面的传染途径怎样切断，然后怎样消灭传染源，这是我们公共卫生所要注重的。所以我接着要讲就讲这些传染病到底怎样传染到人类来。一般来讲，传染病到人体不外乎3种途径，一个就是经由呼吸道 inhalation 进来，另外一个是经由 GI tract 我们的肠胃道出进来的，第3种是直接接触的，包括 SARS， 包括过去的天花，都是经过这个空气传染的，所以它传染力非常强，人类几乎都不能避免。等一下我会特别再介绍。另外，由于肠胃道引起的这是公共卫生，历年来公共卫生做得最好，因为环境卫生的改善可以切断 fecal oral 从粪到口的，从下水道上水道的切掉，就可以把肠胃道的期望减去下来。过去的公共卫生做得最好的就是把肠胃道的疾病减下来。在世界里面，只有一些未开发国家可能还有很多肠胃道疾病，已开发国家这个病几乎很少见到。不过，因为气候变迁引起的水灾这些大灾难，可能会把这个环境卫生整个又冲坏，又重新来。所以这是在大灾后的时候，可能我们公共卫生要 pay attention 的。第3个是由皮肤还有黏膜进来的，这个里面又大别为3类。第一位是由直接 contaminate， 直接和这些泥土、泥沙、沙土等接触的这一类，包括由大水灾引起的，包括台湾最近引起的有 leptospirosis， 就是钩状螺旋体病，还有一些 melioidosis， 这是在东南亚、印度，还有 Northern Australia 北澳洲都有很多的地方病。不过好像最近这个病没有时候很多地方都有报告。第2种的是经由 vector， 就由媒介病原蚊，包括蚊子、包括跳蚤、包括 tick 这些传染疾病。这些传染疾病一定会受到气候暖化影响，因为这些病媒本身是一个动物、一个生物，这个生物都会受到整个生态的影响，这是难免的哈。所以将来的气候暖化里面 vector transmit 这disease可能会越来越多，也是我等一下在特别强调的。第3种的 是由 sexual 传染。AIDS 的病毒20多年才出现，已经传染的最早3-4千万以上，也要死了说1-2千万以上的人。还有 AIDS 的病毒，它是经由体液对体液。AIDS 病毒这个病原体在外界环境里面很难生存，一定要体液同样的温度。要温度，而且要湿度才能够传染，所以它是经由体液对体液，所以只要能洁身自好的话，还可以避免它。所以这个比较可以控制。我等一下介绍是特别介绍由 inhalation 还有 vector transmission， 因为这两个是气候暖化以后可能最大影响，对我们人类公共卫生人类健康公共卫生最影响的 airborne disease。可能是 most dangerous and most difficult to prevent in public health。为什么空气传染？空气传染，我刚才讲，我们不能5分钟不呼吸空气，所以由空气传染的很难避免。虽然我们采用的方法，包括 isolation， 包括 quarantine， 都是还没有办法。尤其变成 pandemic 的流行的话，几乎大部分人都会感染到。所以 H1N1。产生出来的时候，在4月、5月，整个 WHO 都很紧张，世界各国都紧张，包括香港还有反应很厉害，包括把一些客人都在旅馆里面都轰了10天。1918年 Spanish flu 西班牙的那些流行感冒呢很厉害。不过为什么这些从空气中传染的里面，我们有效方法最好是能够发展疫苗。不过并不是很多疫苗都可以防止很多。最有效的，大概我们可以讲，在公共卫生里面，最有效是天花。天花过去是所有婴幼儿最大的杀手。不过我们在1969年 ，WHO 就已经开始用天花的疫苗把它抑制下来了。所以现在世界上应该完全根绝，包括现在的measles，包括麻疹。麻疹也是一些婴幼儿最大的疾患，因为麻疹的病毒有一些人是做 carrier， 所以它很难完全根绝。因为有很多东西是人本身做 carrier， 包括 diphtheria 白喉，包括百日咳，这些都是细菌性的。不过它因为人本身有很多健康者做 carrier， 就随时会跑出来，所以不得不用疫苗方法了。因为它经过空气传染，所以不得不用疫苗。polio 是还有很多人做 carrier， 所以怕每个人都要打疫苗。其他的就是破伤风，破伤风好像我们小时候就开始打，因为破伤风的感染是 everywhere， 泥土 everywhere 都有，所以我们伤口一有伤口，它可能就会进来，所以不得不用 toxoid 先预防它，差不多每10年就要打一次，那是破伤风疫苗。这些最近的方法，除了疫苗发展快一点，另外一个是 surveillance system， 就是我们用监视系统。监视系统现在是用传染病、流行病学很多医生造的。我感觉对 influenza 对这流行性感冒，可能还要监测到这些可能会引起流行性感冒这些 farm story， 就那些养猪、养鸡鸭的，而且更重要的是 migratory bird 这些候鸟。一再飞来飞去的候鸟，这个会带来很多病毒，有些和 influenza 有关的病毒，因为它的 dropping、它的 face、它的saliva 这些都会感染到禽类，感染到猪都可以。然后我们现在又大量的养猪、养鸡，集在一堆，用这些病毒要发生突变的机会就越大，所以这是一个很潜在的威胁。可能将来在 surveillance system 对这些animal farm， 包括猪、鸡、鸭的这些都要严格的监视，看看随时有没有病毒突变，才能够做有效的防堵。所以 surveillance system 是一个非常重要，将来在公共卫生里面做，不是只有做人而已，对其他动物可能也要防范。这个是我们现在讲的新延伸的再浮现的疾病，都几乎在这个 vector transmission， 就是经过昆虫，尤其病媒蚊，蚊子有好几类，光蚊子就很类，传播疟疾的疟蚊，传播登革热的是埃及斑蚊，传播日本脑炎的是 加温、单班加温，每一个蚊子又不一样。这个蚊子最会受到温度影响，温度影响，它就温度升下，它可以从亚热带到温带去，从热带到亚热带去，很多病毒都会跟着这个 vector 跑，所以 vector 这些 vector 这些蚊子、这些跳蚤这些都会受到我们气候的影响，气候变迁就会影响。本来在肯亚超过1000多公尺以上的高山应该不有疟疾，不过最近他们讲1300、400、1500公尺以上的也有疟疾了，因为温度增加了，蚊子就可以飞得更高，也可以活。最近很多包括登革热吧，就是登革热，也在很多地方在流行，因为蚊子又多了。还有最近在印度流行的叫切昆古尼亚痢疾，中文翻译叫气功病，在印度还有在肯亚，本来是50年前就有的，最近5年从肯亚又开始流行到东南亚，包括印度很多。这是可见将来这些蚊子的，向北移动的话，向温带移动的话，这些病都可能会到别的一些本来都没有的病，这些地方病，我们叫 endemic 会变成 epidemic。这是在公共卫生，我们一直强调要怎样事先防范、事先了解这个 vector 这些 entomology 这些昆虫的学也应该加入作为一个研究，才能够我们能够对后来的一个 predict。在所有病原里面，人体最怕的是这些病原、这些 pathogen、这些细菌、病毒、Lichia 这个利克斯体，还有一个 parasite， 包括疟疾、包括 Leishmania 这些卡拉阿扎、这些热病这些的寄生虫，还是一直存在。这些存在里面，将来我们要怎样开始预先懂得 predict 它将来怎样变化？因为地球暖化会影响这些病毒跟着生态变化。我们最怕人类最怕的所有病里面，大概最怕这些，因为他们的复数力量，就他们 reproduction 的rate 比人类差很多。人类是20年才有一代，很多细菌1分钟、5分钟就会分裂一次。你看它分裂多快，那是几何级数。geometric 一直增加，人类是很慢的。这些也是一个生物，人也是一个生物，生万事物先会竞争。他们繁殖这么快，我们怎么能够厌恶它？还好我们人有靠我们自己的免疫力，我们很多免疫的系统，所以免疫的系统最近的研究都在免疫的系统，要怎样增加自己的免疫，增加自己的提高你的抵抗力，是我们应该规律的运动，应该怎样 regular 的 diet 这些。应该怎样做？这是我们公共卫生一直在强调的。所以在公共卫生里面，我们能够 predict 的话，用什么方法 predict？ 这个气候变化，这些昆虫怎样移来移去？假如我们能够 predict， 我们就能够 prevent， 希望能够 prevent 它。不过气候变化太难预测，包括有蝴蝶效应，这些很难，很多 unknown factor在这边的话很难 predict 的话。我们就不得不 precautious， 应该翻译叫小心的应验。不过我都用预期它会出现的话，我们就不得不 well prepared， 要预备要怎样对付它，包括organize一个 team， 随时要有大灾难出来说，随时的解救，随时去很快的立刻进入再去，这是一个我们感觉 well prepared。所以我们为了气候暖化，整个地球的变化。我们感觉到，我们要希望训练更多的 epidemiology， 更多的 topic medicine， 因为很多热带病会像亚热带好，而且我们希望有更多的 biologist， 还有一些研究昆虫，特别媒介的蚊虫的这些 entomologist 昆虫学家，而且有一些人系共同疾病的一些兽医，以及对这个候鸟的禽类专家。还有我们最重要的是 biodiversity 里面 bioecology， 因为一个生态的改变，连一个真空说另外一种生物会进来，到底怎样去把它维持平衡，是一个应该研究的哈。这是我可以感觉到，将来整个气球暖化，我们将来尽量想办法把它可以缓化或是逆转回来，可以改变我们这些传染病对我们人类的威胁。谢谢各位的attention。
Very clear and in-depth explanation. Thank you. So, if we don't take actions now, more new emerging influenza and diseases will come one after the other. Thank you from our heart for Professor Lin's thought-provoking speech. Thank you. Global warming also causes changes in weather patterns. For example, the recent Morakot was the deadliest typhoon with resulting catastrophic damage in Taiwan. Our next distinguished speaker, Professor Lin Jie, will explain more in depth on climate change and air pollution bubble of southern Taiwan.
Professor Lin Jie is Associate Professor of the Department of Environmental Engineering Science, National Pingtung University of Science and Technology. He is a committee member of the Evaluation Board of Environmental Protection Administration Executive Yuan, Technical Committee member of National Environment Standard Board, Bureau of Standards, Metrology and Inspection, MOEA Taiwan. Let's welcome Professor Lin Jie.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here to present some the information about climate change and air pollution control's relationship. Once in 200 years rainfalls is just coming to the Taiwan, south of the Taiwans, to make the thousands the people lost their home and hundreds of the people lose his life. The people ask, this is a natural disaster or not? Actually, I will say yes, that's a natural disaster, but also the man-made disaster. They say in Copenhagen, they say we must move the world from the era of the talk to the era of the change. I think we have start right now to take action, do something good for Earth, then decrease climate change, decrease the temperature change in our planet Earth. Global warming actually comes from the greenhouse effect. We always think the carbon dioxide is a major problem. That's right. The global warming problem is come from carbon dioxide. But just a couple minutes ago, you see the fumes. The methane also causes the global warming problems. The climate change and warming in Taiwan is so serious. The average temperature increase depends on the data from the UNFCCC. They say it's around 0.8 degrees C per year. I come from the southern of Taiwan, the Kaohsiung city. The average is 1.4 degrees different. So that's almost 2 times above the Earth's average temperature increase. In the past 3 years, I represent the Kaohsiung city government to participate in some international activity. For example, like last year in the Poznan, and the following will be Copenhagen. The Kaohsiung city is a very special city. We produce 28.6 tons carbon dioxide per capita per year. That's the world's number, only less than Qatar. So that's the one tell us we got to take some action immediately. The 6 degrees, the difference, the tell us in the following years, it happened to 1 degree C, the temperature difference in the Earth, the percentage is 0. So we will lose all of the ice cap and the superheat and increase global warming. If that happens, we don't have any chance, 0% chance, to bring back the Earth's health. So if that happens, that equal to something like the 1.08 billion tons of TNTs, and more than 10,000 times of the nuclear power in the world combined together brought from the Earth's subsurface. So what we should do, what we can do. Meat consumption is the primary cause of global warming, especially for methane gas. I do believe the methane gas is the strongest global warming potential. That means the 1 methane gas molecule will equal to something like 20 to 70 carbon dioxide molecules. So if we avoid to eat the meat, we will get less the methane. If all of the large people go to the vegetarian, we can save that 70% of the Amazon forest destruct. According to the account, we count the livestock industries. If we produce 1 kilogram of beef, we'll make something like 800 to 1,000 liters of the methane emitted to the atmosphere. Also concerns hundreds of million the liters of water and the livestock waste to pollute our environment. Most people will say the vehicle makes some the pollutant and the carbon dioxide. Actually, if we count livestock industry even more than transportation, the greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. What makes carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in the world? Everywhere use the fossil fuel. When you drive a car, you use the gasoline. When you use the plastics products, you need the fossil fuels, the industry to supply that product for you. Since the Kaohsiung city is the number 2 serious carbon dioxide emission cities in the world, so we take more serious action and more real plan to avoid the condition continue get worse and worse. We built the solar energy arena for the World Games. That's the action plans. And we try to build the mass transportation system in the city combined with the biking. We try to push the industrial sector emission reduction and the stabilize process. Don't make more air pollutant and the greenhouse gases. We try to expand and reorganize some of the industrial park energies, the sources. We push for more the green mass transportation system I just mentioned. A continuous adjustment to construction green, more energy efficient building for the solar energy and the nature, the pest, the wind. The place R&D project to suit the Kaohsiung greenhouse gas country strategy in climate, biological habit, water, and the environment protection education. So the global warming is a serious problem already. What we should do next? I will share this 16 words that maybe we can do. We already destroy the nature. So next step, we need to respect nature, 尊重自然. We need to feedback the environment. We already waste a lot of resources, so we need to appreciate what resource we have, and don't waste resources. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Professor Lin. It is really the time of urgency, right? And also it is clear now that meat consumption is the primary cause of greenhouse effect. We are really grateful to have Professor Lin today share his scientific analysis on global warming and the recent control and reduction strategy from Kaohsiung. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It would be fantastic if every one of us would lead a sustainable life. But how to go green in terms of science and technology?
Well, I think that our next speaker, Dr. Wu Enbroad, will give us some recommendation on the sustainability and green technology.
Dr. Wu Enbroad is the founding group director of the Material and Packaging Technologies Group and vice president of Hong Kong Applied Science and Technology Research Institute, ASTRI, the largest research institute sponsored by Hong Kong government. He is also a fellow of American Society of Mechanical Engineers and former deputy general director of ERSO ITRI, Taiwan. Under his lead, much research into innovative green technologies is underway. For example, LED, the next generation of sustainable lighting industry in the world. Now, let's give a warm round of applause to welcome Dr. Wu.
Thank you. It is my pleasure to be invited and on behalf of Science and Technology Society of Hong Kong to make this presentation. So the first question I would like to ask is sustainability, how is it created? And before I do that, I'd like to put a definition because scientists and engineers always like to put a definition on it. So the definition is the capacity to endure, or the capacity or the capability or the ability for a society, for a community, for a country, or for the world to sustain. So that's the definition of sustainability. So once we know the definition, then we can just look back for 100 years. We see human economic activity actually increase 40 times. And this is a simple calculation from an annual GDP increase per year, which is 3.7%. On the other hand, if we look forward another 100 years, if the trend remains the same, that means we didn't do anything, then we're going to have another 40 times of the human economic activity expansion. And if we look the total 200 years time span, we're going to see 1,600 times the economic expansion activity from year 1900. So then we ask the question whether the Mother Earth can sustain. And that's why it is so important to talk about sustainability. You see actually from this curve, if we didn't do anything, the curve will just go straight. And the vertical axis of this curve is actually the carbon dioxide emission. And in terms of gigatons per year, for sustainable energy, you can actually see that wind power and the solar power are the two that majorly contribute for the sustainable energy, and then followed by carbon capture and storage, which is probably more scientific, and then nuclear power. And this is actually a different aspect of the sustainability and the different aspect of the energy conservation and the different aspect of the greenhouse efforts that we can do. And I just used one example, which is actually from the United Nations report in 2006. Right now we have about 1.3 billion population, which is exactly the same as the China's population. And then it contribute about 40% of the GDP of the total agriculture in the world, and 30% of the planting service, 70% of the agricultural land of the grain produced in the world is actually for farm animals. And it generates 18% of the carbon dioxide. And at the same time, the output is that it is the largest sectoral source for water pollution. So if we read all these numbers from official reports, then maybe instead of just scientists and engineers, we need to help the human beings. Everybody here can do together to help the human being, to help us and to help our offsprings. And so that's what I say here. Low meat diet and promoting vegetarian, we can do now. That means now, not tomorrow. So that we can not only enhance energy efficiency, but also to reduce the greenhouse gas effect. And that will benefit eventually to our Mother Earth and everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wu. I think we thank Dr. Wu wholeheartedly for his clear explanation on green technology and also a suggestion on a simple way to go green, a low-meat diet. Thank you very much.
Animals are always trying their best to adapt the environment for survival. However, the current rate of climate change far exceeds their ability to adapt, resulting in fatal harm to many species, ecosystems, and humanity. We have now the last speech from our distinguished speaker, Ms. Judy Chen, for climate change and biodiversity.
Ms. Cheng is currently the chairman of the Hong Kong Ocean Park Conservation Foundation, board member of Hong Kong Ocean Park Corporation, committee member of UNICEF Hong Kong. She is also an honorary chairperson of Wolong Panda Club, China, and member of the Civic Education Committee, Hong Kong SAR government. Let's welcome Ms. Cheng.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to be here. I think before me we have heard a lot of facts, crucial facts, and we have seen a lot of numbers. that really given us a warning sign that the global warming is a very serious issue. Well, the world's climate is changing in a very extraordinary pace and scale that is not likely to be reversed by the nature process. Human activities are believed to be the main driving force behind it. And with the drastic increase in the production of greenhouse gas since the Industrial Revolution, animals are trying so hard to adapt to the environments at their best in order just to survive. However, the current rate of climate change far exceeds the rate of animals adapting to environments, resulting in effects in our species, our ecosystems, and finally to human beings. Well, the main focus of my talk today will be on the effects of climate change to the wildlife and also to human, and how human, us, we can respond and react to this change. It has been documented that the global temperature has been increasing at a very fast rate since 1850. The increase in the production of the greenhouse gas, including carbon dioxide, methane, and etc., since the Industrial Revolution has significantly correlated to the boost of rising temperature, both in the air and also in the ocean. The current rate of warming in our planet is believed to be at least 10 times higher than the warming rate after the last ice age. Cold nights have been decreased in number globally, and on the other hand, heat waves have been becoming more and more common. We have noticed a lot of typhoons formed in the Atlantic regions. And what happened to Hong Kong locally in the past 118 years, in line with the global warming, according to the number, we have warming up at a rate of approximately about 0.6 degrees per decade. That's quite scary. And it is predicted to rise from the hot days, very hot days. I mean, it's a temperature over 33 degrees. It's predicted from 11 days per year to 24 days per year. What happened? What happened, and how is it affects our biodiversity? Climate affects just about every aspect of nature and human being. And there is now compelling evidence that the climate change is already impacting and will continue to impact the entire Earth system, including ecosystems, communities, population structures. We've seen rising sea levels. Warming of the physical environment directly caused the ice caps to melt in the polar regions. And at the same time, thermal expansions of seawater in the ocean also significantly increased the volume of it. Lowland areas will be flooded easily, and available coastal habitats like mangroves and mudflats will be reduced in size greatly. Global precipitation pattern change. A warmer world means that there will be more rainfall as a whole. Change in rainfall pattern also altered the freshwater stream flow pattern, of which less flow in the stream, affecting the diversity and abundance of animals. Acidic ocean. The increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere dissolved in water, making the ocean more acidic than before. It affects the calcium carbonate formation in the marine organisms, such as our corals, shellfish, like lobsters, clams, scallops, sea urchins as well. And we have ranges of species shift. The climate variability brings shifts in the distribution and abundance of fish, invertebrate, and the plant species in marine communities. This makes the animal migrate to further north and further south. Further north, we will have the polar bears, and further south, we'll have penguins. These are our very cute little friends. They have less and less land to play, less and less iceland to freely roam. Climate change will be expected to lead an upward shift in species ranges. But what happened to our plants? Plants, they don't have wings, they don't have feet, they cannot move, they cannot fly. They can do is just stay there and be left behind. And because our plants change, climate change, a lot of animals that are dependent on the geographical range and habitats, they're facing a very challenging result, like our giant pandas. They depend on high mountain bamboo forest, and right now they have to move higher and higher elevations, but then they don't have certain species of bamboo to eat. Giant pandas are our cute little friends, they're great blessings to human beings. They walk from 9 million years ago to today, and we don't want them to exist. Loss of our valuable lands, loss of our precious animals, what human can do today. We talk about the carbon footprint. We talk about recycle. What we can do is, from my point of view, we try to spread out the message and encourage more people to join us. Plant a tree. Plant a tree. The trees can help with the carbon dioxide. Time is running out. We only have this much time to make a difference. I believe that a lot of friends here share the same vision as I am, that we share this and we always believe in an environment that human can live in harmony with nature. And we believe in that, and together we can make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cheng.
We would like to express our sincere thankfulness to all our distinguished speakers who present us vital information on the dire truth of global warming and the sustainable solution available in terms of alternative living, particularly the vegan diet. Let's thank them once again with our warmest applause.
Thank you.
Today, it is our honor to have also honorable guests here. So we would like to introduce our honorable guest, Mr. Yin Kai Wing, the member of District Council, Sam Sui Bo. Let's give a warm applause. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Our next honorable guest is famous great ballet dancer, Jim Wong. Thank you for your comment. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged and grateful to have our most honorable guest, Supreme Master Ching Hai, accept the invitation to join the conference. Supreme Master Ching Hai is highly esteemed invited speaker at many climate change seminars and conferences around the world. Let's give a warm round of applause to welcome our most honorable Supreme Master Ching Hai.
Đại ca hảo.
Thank you, Master, for your time with us. And Master, first, we would like to greet you Happy Moon Festival.
Happy Moon Festival.
Oh. Happy Moon Festival.
多謝
And a great welcome back to Hong Kong.
你好靚
Thank you, Master. And you too, you are very beautiful.
Happy Moon Festival to everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And happy China Day. 2 days late, but still happy China Day. 60 years China Day. Happy China.
We are very happy and touched to have you here today with us. And Hong Kong miss you, we miss you.
Yeah, I miss Hong Kong too. I used to like it very much because we have a beautiful mountain and we can do retreat there. Yes, just about 10 minutes from the city, but beautiful. I miss that time very much. Beautiful Hong Kong. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you. Supreme Master Ching Hai, thank you once again for your unconditional love and kindness for sharing us your time. Master, our distinguished speakers have presented their knowledge and views on the current crisis of the planet. In addition, we have also a diverse group of distinguished guests representing many areas of society, including head of government, experts from fields of medical science, science and technology, education, religion, journalism, arts, and others. They are gathering here in a vital discussion about global warming and its solution.
Supreme Master Hsin, we would be very grateful if you can share with us your thoughts and views on global warming.
Yes, thank you. I have been listening to our distinguished speakers, and I was very, very impressed by all their wise knowledge and very educational and helpful advice to us and the global viewers. I thank them very much, very much. And of course, I'm very honored also to be invited here with you in this conference with the many respected government leaders, media members, NGO representatives, wise professors, and other distinguished speakers as mentioned today. And also, as well as the caring audience members who spare their precious time in their busy life to come and to share their caring worry about our planet. Now, we have listened to many important speeches about the current effects of climate change on wildlife, on human health, and on the oceans even. So the sense of urgency can truly be felt from these eloquent presentations. While hearing them, the wish would grow stronger in our hearts for a saved planet and for saved lives. Hong Kong has long enjoyed prosperity and peace, both as the pride of China and as an internationally admired city. But as with all cities and countries in the world, she is vulnerable to the effects of global warming, such as the threat of sea level rise, and as we have learned from the experts today, diseases are intensifying as well. In such an increasingly frightening scenario, we are lucky and blessed to still have the time to save our lives and the lives of our children and our co-inhabitants. So I'm still hopeful that this important conference today will motivate everyone to make the small changes needed to propel us all toward a beautiful future for ourselves and the planet. And thank you. Please be a hero. Be veg. Go green. Do good deeds and save the planet. Thank you so much. God bless Hong Kong.
Thank you. Thank you, Master.
Thank you.
Now, Master, we have our first honorable guest, Mr. Bobsy. Mr. Bobsy is a vegetarian and is a shining world hero laureate for being the founder of Save the Human campaign. And some of our guests would like to have your opinions and advice to their questions. And now, Mr. Bobsy is our first guest who would like to put one question to you. Thank you, Master.
Welcome, Bobsy. Nice to know you, Bobsy.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Master, in your website, you are urging us and telling us that we have 1,208 days left to save the planet. That is just over 3 years. Could you please explain why you have specifically stated this number or these number of years? Thank you.
Yes, Bobsy. You see, since you ask, I have to tell you the truth. It's my inner knowledge through meditation But that I cannot prove to you. Nevertheless, all the scientific data as well as evidence all point to this approximate number. And the evidence is already there and available. As you said, today, more or less, there are only 1,208 days left to save the planet from runaway global warming, from destruction by all the world's population becoming vegan. That is a small change and a small sacrifice that we all could afford to make and should make for the sake of ourselves and the future generation. Very small change, I think, very affordable change, and very reasonable. But whether people will become vegan or vegetarian like yourself or not, whether the world will save itself or not, it all depends on humans' action. But the countdown is there to remind us that we have a very short time, just a little over 3 years, for every single person to be veg to save life on Earth. We have to save this planet for our children. They are too innocent to deserve the destruction that is awaiting them. They're too vulnerable. They're helpless. They depend on us, the adult, the wise grown-up, to lead them into the right direction, to protect them, and to save their lives. We have inherited a beautiful planet. It is our duty to keep it that way for our children and grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren later on. We have our duty to protect the home for the children. Even if we don't care about our life on Earth, we have no right to destroy it for others. I hope the countdown helps people to feel the urgency and join the solution. So I appreciate you, Mr. Bobsy, for your own veg promoting efforts with your slogan, Save the Human campaign. It is fittingly named. We must save the human and human compassionate hearts. That is the most important. We have to save our noble quality. Again and again, I always mention, it's not just about the physical existence on this planet that we want to save, but we want to protect the children. And by doing that, we protect our noble self, our heroic, compassionate self, which is our true nature. If we lose them, it's worse than losing the planet. We have to keep our compassionate heart. We have to be noble and truthful, loving and protective of the weak and the feeble, like children and the helpless, defenseless animals. We must protect our noble nature. We must be a living, walking, breathing children of God, or the disciples of the Buddhas. Thanks again for your efforts, Bobsy, and thanks for reminding us by your question. God bless.
Thank you very much, Master. Thank you for an important message.
You're welcome.
We will keep your advice in our heart and work hard, try all our best to work hard to do together and to stop the global warming. Thank you. Thank you, Master, and thank you, Bobsy, for your good questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vegetarianism in religion.
The Baha'i Faith, Regarding the eating of animal flesh and abstinence therefrom, know thou of a certainty that, in the beginning of creation, God determined the food of every living being, and to eat contrary to that determination is not approved. Selections from the Baha'i writings of some aspects of health and healing.
Buddhism. All meats eaten by living beings are of their own relatives. Lankavatara Sutra. Also, after the birth of the baby, care must be exercised not to kill any animal in order to feed the mother with meaty delicacies, and not to assemble many relatives to drink liquor or to eat meat, because at the difficult time of birth, there are innumerable evil demons, monsters, and goblins who want to consume the smelly blood. By ignorantly and adversely resorting to the killing of animals for consumption, they bring down curses upon themselves, which are detrimental to both the mother and the baby. Ksitigarbha Sutra. Be careful during the days immediately after someone's death, not killing or destroying, or creating evil karma by worshipping or offering sacrifice to demons and deities, because such killing and slaughtering committed, or such worship performed, or such sacrifice offered, would not have even an iota of force to benefit the dead, but would entwine even more sinful karma into previous karma, making it even deeper and more serious. Thus, delay his rebirth to a good state. Karma means retribution. Ksitigarbha Sutra.
Gaudai. The most important thing is to stop killing, because animals also have souls and understand like humans. If we kill and eat them, then we owe them a blood debt. Teachings of the Saints.
Christianity. Meats for the belly, and the belly for meats, but God shall destroy both it and them. Holy Bible.
And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. Holy Bible.
Confucianism. All men have a mind which cannot bear to see the sufferings of others. The superior man, having seen the animals alive, cannot bear to see them die. Having heard their dying cries, he cannot bear to eat their flesh. Mencius. Essenes.
I am come to end the sacrifices and feasts of blood, and if ye cease not offering and eating of flesh and blood, the wrath of God shall not cease from you. Gospel of the Holy 12.
Hinduism. Since you cannot bring killed animals back to life, you are responsible for killing them. Therefore, you are going to hell. There is no way for your deliverance. Adalila.
He who desires to augment his own flesh by eating the flesh of other creatures lives in misery in whatever species he may take his birth. Mahabharata anew.
Islam. Allah will not give mercy to anyone except those who give mercy to other creatures. Hadith.
Do not allow your stomachs to become graveyards of animals. Hadith.
Jainism. A true monk should not accept such food and drink as has been specially prepared for him involving the slaughter of living beings. Sutrakatanga.
Judaism. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. Holy Bible. Blood meaning flesh.
Sikhism. Those mortals who consume marijuana, flesh, and wine, no matter what pilgrimages, fasts, and rituals they follow, they will all go to hell. Guru Granth Sahib.
Taoism. Do not go into the mountain to catch birds and nets, nor to the water to poison fishes and minnows. Do not butcher the ox that plows your field. Tract of the Quiet Way.
Tibetan Buddhism. The offering to the deities of meat obtained by killing animate beings is like offering a mother the flesh of her own child, and this is a grievous failure, the supreme path of discipleship.
Zoroastrianism. Those plants I, Ahura Mazda, or God, rain down upon the earth to bring food to the faithful and fodder to the beneficent cow. Avesta.
Everybody knows that vegetarian diet is good for health and to save the planet. They will be awakening their own great, compassionate, loving self-nature, and then their level of consciousness will rise up automatically, and they will understand more than they ever did and they'll be closer to heaven than what they are right now.
And now we have our next honorable guest, Dr. Lawrence Lau. He is a health care consultant.
Hello, Master.
Hello,
I'm
Dr.
honored
Lau.
to be invited here and glad to see you in person. That I appreciate the effort you have made and the organization leading the head in helping the world. This global warming, which is becoming more and more serious. And in fact, there are more people who have died from meat eating, died from drug addictions, alcoholics, than people who die in the war. Then, if most people become vegetarians, do you think there would be improvement? And also, if most people become vegetarians, how would that help economically, spiritually, culturally, and scientifically? I appreciate your answering these 4 aspects. Thank you.
Good question, Dr. Lau. Thank you for your kind words about our humble group. If we have accomplished anything at all, I feel it's just a duty to contribute our part, as small as it may be, as concerned world citizens. In Vietnam, we have a saying that when your country is in trouble, even a fool has responsibility to protect it. Quốc gia hưng vong, thất phu hữu trách. Yes. Meaning, even though we don't have all the knowledge or the scientific means to help the planet in the way we would have liked to do, even though our group are not very significantly strong in numbers, we still have to do our best, just like everyone else. Because if everybody do their part, then the power together is strong. It's like we say, one tree cannot do much, but many trees made a forest. So we are doing our part, and we are hoping and reminding and pleading with everyone to do their part. Because we are all here together. I am one of you. And it's still a very beautiful planet. And I wish it will still be there for the children, for future generations to come. Of course, if the majority of the world's people become vegetarian, or preferably vegan, organic vegan would be best for our world. Then there would be a tremendous improvement in all aspects. First, as you imply, Dr. Lau, millions of people who would otherwise be gone because of these killer substances that you mentioned will be alive. Economically, that means hundreds of billions in healthcare costs are saved. Millions of family members and children will be secure and provided for, and be protected from the heartaches of losing their loved ones due to poisonous substances in meat, alcohol, drug, tobacco. Billions of tax dollars and government time and energy to fight drugs, tobacco, alcohol, and to give meat subsidies are saved also. Billions of dollars in lost productivity for companies are saved too. Productivity will go up, even much higher if people aren't crippled by these killers. Culturally, without meat, alcohol, drugs, and tobacco, of course we would be happier, healthier, because loved ones will be around longer. We will be around longer for them. And they will be around longer for us as families. It would be better for the communities, for their countries. Not only will we be healthier, we will feel different, more loving, more caring, more alive, more carefree as well. Because we are no longer burdened physically and in our conscience and in our heart by these oppressive, addictive substances. We will also think differently as a society. More clarity and wisdom will be flowing into our minds so that we would know of better ways to run our society and live our lives. Ask anyone who has turned around to forsake meat, forsake drugs, forsake alcohol, forsake tobaccos. You ask any of them how they felt before and how they feel after. They would tell you a huge improvement in all aspects of their life. And they would tell you that they're so glad that they quit the bad habit. And they will tell you how happier they feel, how lighthearted, how more intelligent, how more productive and constructive to themselves, to their family, society, and the world at large. Spiritually, we will have more awareness, more love in abundance. In our heart, we will feel the world of difference. Ask anyone who has quit these harmful substances, they will tell you the same. Even without practicing any religious faith or any yoga, they feel a world of difference already. And of course, if we practice meditation or yoga, then of course we feel even much better than that. Calmer, yes, more loving, more attentive, more concentrate in whatever we do. Thus, our productivity will be enhanced and we will be contributed more to the society. Thus, if everyone forsake these harmful substances, we will be creating a powerful, positive, loving, and harmonious energy that is constructive and beneficial to all on earth in all aspects. And with this energy, we will be able to counter and defeat the dark, menacing, dangerous energy that is trying to suffocate us and trying to destroy our only home for our children, that is our beloved planet.
Some of the tragic tolls of addictive drug abuse: over 200,000 deaths each year, costs of $181 billion each year in the United States, $33 billion in the UK. Lifetime cost of current drug addiction amounts to $575 billion in the UK. Harmful effects: brain damage, stroke, heart disease, liver disease, tuberculosis, emphysema, cancer, depression, suicide, permanent memory loss, mental illness, higher infant mortality, increased crime and violence, impotence. Crime and violence. Illegal drugs are a factor in 50% of burglaries in the United Kingdom each year. In the U.S., 60% of people arrested each year have been taking illegal drugs. 650 heroin addicts in the U.S. committed 70,000 crimes in a 3-month period. Social costs. U.S. businesses lose $100 billion per year due to employees' drug and alcohol abuse. Australians pay $53 billion per year for healthcare, law enforcement, and lost productivity of drug users. Environmental costs. Every gram of cocaine produced destroys 4.4 square meters of rainforest, with 300,000 hectares of rainforest lost each year to cocaine production. Death. 52 people die each day due to drugs in the U.S. In Canada, substance abuse is attributed to 21% of total deaths and 23% of potential life years lost due to early mortalities. Plus more.
Some of the tragic tolls of tobacco. 5.4 million smoking-related deaths per year worldwide. Cost of smoking-related illnesses. $96 billion in the United States alone. Light and mild cigarettes just as harmful. Causes cancer and diseases in animal companions. Speeds the aging process. Toxic residues of third-hand smoke. Heart disease, coronary thrombosis, cerebral thrombosis, kidney failure.
Cancer, mouth, liver, breast and colorectal cancer, lung cancer, esophagus cancer, kidneys cancer, bladder cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, emphysema, bronchitis.
Stroke, impotence, additional harms for secondhand smoking, childhood arteriosclerosis leading to heart attacks and strokes in adulthood, sudden infant death syndrome, infertility, miscarriages and premature deliveries, childhood asthma, bronchitis, ear infection, cleft lip or palate, hyperactivity and aggression in asthmatic boys, circulatory problems in women.
Plus more.
Some of the tragic tolls of alcohol. 2.3 million alcohol-related deaths per year worldwide. Cost of alcohol-related illnesses. $186.4 billion in the United States. Up to $210 to $665 billion globally.
Disease. Higher amounts of alcohol increase the cancer risk. Even half a glass of wine daily increases the risk of mouth or throat cancer by 168%. Cancer of the liver, breast, colon, esophagus, rectum. Liver disease. Cardiovascular disease. Metal toxicity. Brain damage. Amnesia and dementia. Brain shrinkage.
Organ failure. Heart, liver, kidneys, stomach, pancreas, eyes.
Birth defects. Children afflicted by anxiety and depression. Mental retardation, fetal alcohol syndrome, stunted growth, facial deformity, sudden infant death syndrome, miscarriage.
Alcohol-related violence. Child abuse, 50% of cases. Violence toward loved ones, 30% of cases. Violent acts, 40 to 80% of cases. Suicides, 20 to 50% of cases. Plus more.
For more urgent information, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/killers.
If all become vegans, vegetarian, organic vegan be better, we will be much easily elevated inside, spiritually, without these toxins as obstacles in our lives. And as a result, scientific changes will manifest as well, in the form of incredible, fantastic new inventions that improve the quality of life for people on Earth. Our scientific and technological understanding will also go beyond Earth, because with an elevated, compassionate atmosphere, we can even communicate with other, more advanced planet people and learn from them, exchange with them, our knowledge and their knowledge. And of course, the environment will be restored to a wholesome state. Once meat, alcohol, drugs, and tobacco are eliminated, the changes and improvements will be so far-reaching and so wonderful. It will be like a great leap in our evolution. We should pray for this day to come soon. Dr. Lau, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Master. I'm sure many more people will become vegan day by day. And thank you, Dr. Lau, for your great concern for others. Thank you very much.
港深水埗嘅區議員咁樣我哋都係一直都係關注呢個即係地區嘅事務嘅即係一個嘅組織咁樣嘅。
咁可唔可以就發表下？譬如啱啱聽完個講座之後啦，知道咧嗰個畜牧業咧都係一個令到全球暖化一個主要成因嚟嘅。咁樣睇下你就喺呢方面咧發表你嘅感受同意見啦。
經過今日咧呢個即係講座之後咧，咁就真係大開眼界啦。咁而家咧就知道多啲好多啦咁樣。咁開始咧都會考慮下咧，就係關於呢一個嘅即係全球畜牧業咧，就對呢個嘅環境保護上面嘅時候咧，就造成嘅一啲嘅問題咁樣。
听完以后就是决心比较大，今天就是把那个先生儿子都拉过来，我说希望他们就是真是要切身的去体会一下这个影响、这个后果，用自己的实际行动去拯救地球吧。吃荤的那个比例会越来越少了，因为现在也是比较少，我就跟一般香港市民比的话，我是比较少。我可以结交这样一些朋友嘛，可以去上网去看他们菜单，那就慢慢学着做，就一步一步去过渡。
不是很清楚救地球到底是个什么样的准确的概念。那今天比较清楚的就知道，所谓救地球是希望世人能够找回自己的慈悲之心，自己的佛性。那我回去之后呢，也不会为了推广素食而推广素食。觉得呢，可以跟大家做几个方面的分享，希望在做的过程中，大家能够知道吃素的意义，能够在吃的过程中呢，發掘自己的佛性，自己的慈悲之心。
香港或者全球啦，我哋要教育我哋嘅下一代咧，更加對呢個環保嘅意識嘅認識，特別而家我睇到食肉對呢個環境污染嘅影響啦，我哋更加要教我哋嘅下一代咧，識得保育同埋環保呢個重要性。咁我哋都好同意呢個吃全素、環保救地球呢個咁樣嘅口號。
會更深入的一點了解，什麼可以做，什麼應該做，什麼我們一定必須做。對於這個畜牧業在這個全球暖化上面扮演的角色，我們應該可以給它嚴格的限制，鼓勵大家呢盡可能的不要去助長這些畜牧業的發展。那尤其是在這個政府也好，這些納稅人也好，對於畜牧業的這些補助的付出，我們應該把這些資訊來告訴大家，來大家一同來抵制這個畜牧業它對地球產生的一些破壞。參加這個 conference，我會更積極的從這個飲食的習慣裡面去找到一些適合的方式。那當然，我也會很積極的想要求自己，這個 be vegan, go green, save the planet。
所以，只要我們大家都是素食的話，不養豬、不養鴨、不養牛的話，我相信一定會減少大概最少40% 以上這些溫室氣體。所以我相信，只要大部分人都來開始素食的話，應該減下這些畜牧業、這些養牛、養豬的這些工業的話，我相信一定可以減緩地球的暖化。我大概20多年前在台灣就經過青海無戰師這位大人物，因為他的德行引起很多人對他的信仰。我相信這方面的鼓勵，很多人跟隨他的話，應該對地球的這個環境應該也有幫忙。我對他非常 respect。
I think it's amazing. I think it's really blissful and heavenly that we have so many people here who've made personal choices to help for a peaceful and healthy planet and a healthy self. I think we're much more efficient and much more harmonious if we eat a vegetarian diet. From what I've learned here today and watching her converse with my good friend Bobsy, I've seen an amazing light from her, and it seems like she's leading people and the world into a much better place. Save the human, don't eat the planet, be veg, go green. Save the planet, save yourself.